Yes, going back home.
Okay, Teresa.
Mike, with Simmons, do you try to monitor the snaps, or is it just build on what he was able to do in his debut?
Well, I think that's part of the return to play is that you get a player ready to participate in the game at whatever level. In this case, it was 21 snaps. See how he responds, and then kind of go from there. I would say that he, responded okay. So we'll kind of see a little bit more today, with probably a little bit more up tempo and kind of have some pads on and kind of go from there to see where his role is and how that will either remain the same or increase.
You said that his strength staff worked with Simmons at Mississippi State, and they felt that he was going to be able to play this year. Is that something that you got from your strength staff through the process?
That we got from our strength staff? I don't know where his strength staff came from, or like Frank didn't evaluate Simmons other than just to look at him and say that genetically he looked like a pretty gifted player. We let our doctors handle all that.
How do you do from like a conditioning standpoint and endurance standpoint playing for the first time? Is that an issue?
I think probably that was, I don't know if that's an issue. Probably had a lot to do with, being excited. We've talked about this before, that there's some players that can just have a calmness to them to not get themselves, too worked up and spend a lot of energy not even running around, but they're just kind of hyped up and excited. So I'm sure that might have had something to do with whatever he was feeling or wasn't feeling. I thought he ran to the football. I thought there was a noticeable burst when he was running. There were some plays where it didn't look like he was loafing. But I'm sure he was kind of amped up where some of that could, you get fatigued just from that.
Do you expect any of the guys that didn't work yesterday to work today?
Probably not.
I know challenges Mike Evans.
Big, fast, talented, goes up, attacks the football. He's got a lot of length. So a lot of challenges. I think he's averaging, 18 yards a catch. He's been a talented receiver since he entered the league. Always a threat for the home run, for the X play down the field. To be important that we're in tight man coverage and we're able to try to contest any of those catches, and we're in zone. We've got to make sure that guys are getting the proper depth and working to be where he's at. I don't think that there's any real answer. Whether you double them, and there's a lot of things to cover when you look at receivers like that are just very gifted from a size and a speed standpoint.
How do you handle Suck-Up now that he's kind of cleared to practice, and he's still a week away from being able to help you, but is that a positive development that he is now in a position where he can start practicing again?
I'd say the positive development is that he's not going to be able to help us this week, so whatever he's trying to do to get ready for when he can help us, that's what he's going to do, but it's not going to be with anybody that's playing in the game this week.
So he'll just work on the side field and just continue to rehab and get himself in a position where.
Yeah, I mean, here's the difference. He can now get. Brett can hold the ball for him, and Bo can snap it to him. That's really what's changed in his development. I mean, he could go over there and that little thing that they prop the ball up and it holds it for him. He could do that before, and then now can actually have another player hold it for him. But that's, again, that's not going to help us this week. But we're glad that he's progressing to be able to get out there on the field.
Mike, Bruce Arians said yesterday that you were a little mad at him after the London game last year, that you didn't give up much in the production meetings before that game with the Chargers, but that you were mad after. Do you remember why you were a little ticked at him?
No, I mean, my version of mad, it was a, again, it goes back to these decisions that we make. And, as coaches, you have decisions that you like. And, I think Bruce and I are just fine. I mean, Bruce is he's got a great attitude to coach and understanding of, not too many things, affect him. And he's very aggressive in his decisions, in what he does. I think the players like him. They play hard for him. But no, I saw him in the meetings, and the production. I'm not real good in production meetings, as you might guess. So.
How's Barry been able to get his sacks? I mean, is he doing different things to find success?
Well, I think I think this is one of those players that was behind really good players. He was playtime in Denver, having studied him in the offseason, looking at free agency. You're going to get an opportunity, a good player that gets an opportunity to play a lot more. He's got good get off. I think he uses his hands very well. He doesn't have just one move. He's able to mix moves, screen. He's not a guy that just rushes up the field and just tries to say, oh, I'm going to try to bat the ball down when they didn't block me, and I know that it's a screen. So I'm drop out of there, tip the ball up, catch it himself. So I think that just the opportunity has really helped him with production. I don't think he's playing a lot more.
How important is it for you guys to every now and then be able to convert some third and longs as you did last game? I mean, I know any team can't do it on a regular basis, but
going back to defensively, when you give those up, I mean, it's like it's a punch in the gut, because you kind of are like, okay, let's get them down, and, forcing the punt and get off the field, and then all of a sudden it's like sending your base defense out or nickel defense for a first down, and you're like, how did that happen? So when we're able to convert those, not that you'd like to sit there and be in there a bunch of times in the game, but having some plays that you feel comfortable with and that you like to be able to call them and give yourself an opportunity to pick them up, because it is it's a boost. And I think that, just having been on a defensive side, it's not fun to be able to give those up.
How much of a role does Vita Vea and Sue have in their top-ranked rushing defense?
I would say, I don't want to, there's no discredit or disservice to any of those other players, but these guys are a load inside. And the thing that I can appreciate is they play with technique. They're not just just running all over the place. When you see these guys, they put their hands in the chest of the offensive lineman. They play with good pad level, great effort, extension. When the ball declares, they shed and get off, and whether it's in their gap or a backside gap to make a play. And then linebackers are fast. Levante David is obviously a tackling machine. White's working his way back in there. Whitehead will trigger in support as a safety. I think they play with a lot of effort, and this is a good tackling team. That's kind of what you take from it, is that they're a very good tackling defense, and when you do that, you have an opportunity to limit the yards after contact.
I know it's 14 months ago, but the work that you had with them in training camp last year, can guys use things they learned in some of those one-on-one matchups in the game this week? How beneficial could that be?
I hope so. We have some of those clips and opportunities. Different defense. I think just what you try to take from it is play style, skill set of the player, whether that be Howard or Evans or Donovan Smith blocking. Jensen, some of those guys that are carryover. How it looked in practice and what they may, do routinely, and then try to use whatever scheme they're running now. So I think that you can go back and take a look at it.
As a team coming off a bye, do you have to be wary of a trick play or two? I mean, are teams more likely to put something like that in with extra?
I think that it's an opportunity for them to look at whatever tendencies they're doing and what they've been doing and showing, and say, hey, are we going to continue, or we don't want to change something up, or probably not going to change much in their run defense. And but I would imagine that there's going to be some wrinkles or some things that are new to every week, and then especially with the bye week, with having a little bit extra time, I would imagine that we could potentially see something, and we have to just prepare for the base stuff, and then whatever else may come of it. Sorry, John.
Sorry. Did Long get enough snaps to get any kind of impression for you last week?
Well, David's working his way in as a core special teams player. I do like his instinctiveness. I like his quickness. He's practiced very well for us. When he goes out there in the show team and is able to use those reps to play football and to come from a college and a conference where there's maybe a lot of spread sets, to see some more pro style or more tight ends in a game or runs under center. And I think he just keeps working and developing, and it will help us, and like he did last week. If somebody needs a break or there's an injury, and I don't think he did himself any disservice by going in and getting on a running back and making a tackle there on the screen.
Good.
Guys, thank you.
Thank you. We'll bring Dean